Welcome back to Math 171 Pre-Calculus Algebra. In this video, we're going to take a look at the algebra of functions, specifically adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. So, given function f of x with domain df and then g of x with domain dg, we can define the following that are pretty self-explanatory. F plus g of x, f minus g of x, fg of x, and then f divided by g of x. And all of these are defined exactly as you'd think they're defined. F plus g is f of x plus g of x. F minus g of x is f of x minus g of x. Fg of x is going to be f of x times g of x. Then f divided by g of x is going to be f of x divided by g of x. Now, the domains for the first three are relatively simple. Not minus. The intersection of the domain of f and the domain of g. So intersection means that for something to be in there, it has to be in both of the sets. So here it has to be in the domain of f and the domain of g. In other words, we're saying in order to add two things together, they both have to be defined, which makes sense. Now, where the domain gets a little bit more tricky, but not too difficult, is this case of f of x divided by g of x. So we still have d of f intersected with d of g. But now we've got to put the little caveat in there that g of x does not equal 0. So if we get a situation that g of x equals 0, we also have to remove that from the domain. So for the domain of the ones that are added together, the only things we have to remove from the domain are the things that aren't in the domain of one of the two functions. But for division, we have to remove it if it's not in the domain of one of the functions. We also have to remove it from the domain if it's going to make the denominator 0. So that'll do it for this video. In the next video, we're going to take a look at a different way that we can put two functions together.